Welcome to the show, everybody. Dr. David Cooper here, and I'm so excited to welcome you back to the latest episode of the Unstoppable Introvert Project. I hope you are pumped. I hope you're thriving. I hope you are ready to get it. And it's a biggie today. It's a biggie. But before we get into that, how has your week gone? How have your thoughts, feelings, beliefs, values, identities, have they shifted since we last spoke? It's been deep. We got straight into quite a lot of theory, and we're not taking a break from that too much today. We are getting into something that is so powerful today, and I'm so excited to share it with you, and that is beliefs. Before I get into the topic, I really do truly hope that you are feeling good about yourselves. We're getting into 2024 now, aren't we? It's been a few weeks since New Year. We're probably thinking about those goals that we set and thinking about the people we're currently being and sort of thinking, do I want to still make that big change? You see it in the gyms. That's the most visual way of those kind of New Year's goals, that you see everybody suddenly evaporating from the gym. You know, January, crazy busy. That first week with all the New Year's resolutioners. And then when we get into February, suddenly the weights machines are a little bit emptier. There's a few more treadmills available. Are you in that group? Are you going to use this podcast today as a Kickstarter so you can go and transform yourself and continue on the path towards achieving your goals in 2024? I'm sure you are. But today it's about beliefs. It's about the deep work. You know, it's about removing barriers, breaking down limiting beliefs, building empowering beliefs. And it's the painful work a lot of the time. It's the work that doesn't come easy. I don't know if, we've got a little visitor. She's going, I don't need to change my beliefs today, Dad. Orwin's out of here. Look at that sassy cat. I don't know if you can see her or not in the on the video. Now, something I don't know if it's completely true, I'm going to say it anyway, is that when it comes to beliefs, limiting beliefs are a lot easier to go to, if you like. And what I mean by that is it's the easier choice. So when you think of a limiting belief, it's more accepted in a lot of ways to talk about limiting beliefs, you know, not to push yourself forward and show that you're empowered, and instead almost hide behind limiting beliefs as an excuse not to achieve anything. It's quite a sweeping statement, but it is something I believe. And I also think it's the easy way out. You know, a lot of us hide behind those limiting beliefs as a way of not achieving anything or not achieving something. You know, I'm not built for this. I didn't grow up in a great background. I've had so many setbacks. I'm never going to achieve anything. And it's those types of beliefs that are, you know, a real problem when it comes to actually becoming unstoppable, like we're trying to with our Unstoppable Introvert Project. So your role here is to remove internal limitations that you have subconsciously imposed on yourself. Because this happens in a lot of different ways. It's not just you thinking these things a lot of the time. Our parents have a big impact on this. The way they talk to you, your school teachers when you were younger, your friends, the way they talk to you. Maybe you were bullied. Maybe you've had setbacks in your life where you've thought, right, this is the only way forward. And that all builds into limiting beliefs. And I'll get into some examples in a second. But what we want to do instead is facilitate the process of constructing more beneficial assumptions that will allow you to more freely work towards your desired outcome, i.e. empower yourself to take some positive action and go and actually achieve your dreams, in a nutshell. But let's get into a belief first. Firstly, a belief is an acceptance that something exists or is true, especially one without proof. And then the other way to define a belief, it's something one accepts as true or real. It's not a fact, it's an opinion. So a belief is an opinion, not a fact. And with that in mind, that means beliefs can be changed. So you will come across people who try and press their beliefs on you to try and get you to change yours. You have to be strong and be able to say, no, I believe X, not Y, and that is your decision. But we can break beliefs down into two types of beliefs. The first one is limiting beliefs. And these are the beliefs that hold you back. So limiting belief limits us when it comes to who we want to be, or what we want to do, or have what we want to have. It says, no, you can't be that person, or you can't have that thing, or you can't work towards that big goal. You're not good enough. Whereas an empowering belief is almost the complete opposite. It's a belief that pushes you to move closer to all of those things, to move closer to be the person you want to be, to move closer to getting whatever it is you want, whatever those big goals are. And it's your ability to focus on those empowering beliefs that is going to separate you from being a high-performing, unstoppable introvert and somebody who looks at their introverted nature and sees it as a negative. I'll never achieve anything because I'm an introvert. I'll never lead a team because I'm an introvert. I can never start a business because I'm an introvert. No, actually, being an introvert is a superpower. That is the thing that is going to separate you. Your ability to listen, to empathize, to understand, to be concise, to make an impact without shouting the loudest. All of these things are incredibly important when it comes to being successful. So make sure that you are focusing on those empowering beliefs. So what do we have limiting beliefs about? In a nutshell, or in a word I should say, everything. Every single thing. For example, our abilities, our identities, our potential, our thoughts about other people, our behavior, our future, the world, the universe, etc., etc., etc. And one way to find out where you are at when it comes to your own beliefs, think about the I am statements. So think about when you use those statements, what comes at the end? So, for example, I am shy, I am lazy, I am unmotivated. The truth is, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're probably right. As Henry Ford quite a while ago now, but that statement is as true then as it is now. And something that I always say is, if you are saying these things, then you believe those things. It's a belief. If you don't think you can do something, you don't even need to tell me, just don't do it. And it's the same with the action. You don't need to tell me what you're going to do, just do it. And it's all about the action. If you're not going to do something and you say and you cry and you whinge about not being able to do it, then you will start to believe that is in fact a true trait, when actually it's just something you're telling yourself. Instead, try and talk yourself into doing things, but it all comes down to action. Now, I'm going to talk about empowering beliefs in a minute, so I won't go on too much, but it's all about how you make that jump from being where you're at and turning those beliefs from limiting into empowering. And it's all through action. So my example that I always love to give is part of my weight loss journey. When I was morbidly obese, 70 pounds overweight, couldn't run a mile, my limiting beliefs were that I am overweight and everybody's laughing at me, so I don't want to go outside and work out. But I was able to empower myself by looking at that same situation, changing my perspective, reframing like we've done in a previous episode, and instead thought about, actually, this is an opportunity for me to go and reshape my body, chisel away the fat, get in the best shape of my life. And I turned that negative I am statement, I am overweight, into I am in a physical transition. And I was working towards a new goal. So it's all about that perspective and changing that belief system into something much more positive and empowering. But limiting beliefs lead to a whole range of issues: fear, self-sabotage, emotional reactions, negative thinking, overthinking, procrastination, no action. The list really goes on. So when you are in this situation, try and think logically rather than in a reactive manner. So a reactive manner is quite aggressive, quite negative, whereas a logical thinker will go through all of the different reasons that you are having those thoughts and either agree with them or disagree with them and come up with a different solution. But let's have a think about some of these. So fear. So the limiting belief of fear. We all have it. It was developed because of hundreds of years ago when saber-toothed tigers wanted to eat us. We developed fear because we wanted to stay alive. We didn't want to get eaten. Now that feeling, that flight or fight response, is still with us now, except it shows itself in lots of different ways. And we get into the habit, certainly as adults, of saying things like, be careful. So when you were younger, I'm sure your parents would have said, oh, be careful when you're going outside. Mine certainly did. And what that means is every time that you go outside and someone says, be careful, the barriers get put up. You build limiting beliefs about whatever you're doing. And that creates fear. And it leads to a lack of action, because the be careful phrase immediately makes you think, oh, I need to be careful here. Something mustn't be right. I'm either going to fight or I'm going to flight. And that leads to a lack of action. So don't say be careful, is in a nutshell. Number 2, self-sabotage. So imagine that boy or girl who is a terrible influence on you, but you're chasing them. You want to date them all the time. Maybe they've cheated on you. Maybe they treat you like shit. You're chasing that person because you don't think you're worthy of that nice guy. You don't think that you are worth the nice guy's time. And you might say to yourself, oh, I just like the bad guys. I just like the bad girls. When actually, it's a lack of self-worth that you have developed. And you've got a limiting belief around how you should be treated. I should be treated like shit. People should swear at me. People shouldn't call me. People should make me chase them. That is a lack of self-worth. So whenever you hear that somebody likes to chase the bad guys or the bad girls, and no one likes to get treated like shit, it's because they have a lack of self-worth, and you might be able to provide a little bit of an intervention for them. Or maybe you're that person. And if it is you, and you have just realized you have a lack of self-worth, this is the time to work on yourself and improve yourself. If you're becoming an unstoppable introvert, high-performing, high-achieving, dream-chasing, amazing relationship grasping person, it's time to get that self-worth up. Now, a lot of the time, we aren't actually aware of our own limiting beliefs, commonly. But if your limiting beliefs aren't addressed, great change will not happen. So I'll say that again in case the people in the back missed it. If limiting beliefs aren't addressed, great change will not happen. So if you might have all these dreams and goals and ambitions, but if you don't get out of your own way and change your limiting beliefs, great change won't happen and you won't achieve anything. Right, let's get on to the next one when it comes to limiting beliefs and how you might see them. Bad emotional readiness or reactions. It's not the situation, we've talked about that before, it's how it makes you feel and the meaning attached to it. If this is a limiting belief for you, you will feel triggered. So bad emotional reactions. Then you react angrily rather than accepting there's an underlying limiting belief. So let's say your partner is in a mood with you. And because they're in a mood with you, you get pissed and you're angry at them and you shout at them and scream at them. And then eventually you calm down and you say, why were you angry at me? And they say, oh, well, I just wanted some affection or love from you. I just wanted a cuddle. So instead of you being aware of how they were feeling, and logically thought through how you might approach a situation and give them a cuddle or a kiss or whatever, bring them a cup of tea. Instead, you got triggered by the fact that they were angry and the situation made you feel negative. And what that led to was you feeling pissed off. You started an argument, you blew up at that person rather than giving them what they need, because that was a trigger for you. So again, if you're somebody who has bad emotional reactions to people, it's because you have limiting beliefs, and it's something that you can develop. And then the last one I'm going to talk about here is negative thinking. So this is a limiting belief around insecurities, being insecure in yourself. Again, a lot of these things go back to having a lack of self-confidence and a lack of self-worth. But one of the ways is, where's your partner? Are they out cheating on me? If you're in a loving relationship, your partner should be able to go out, do whatever the hell they want, and you should be able to trust that they aren't doing anything bad. They aren't pushing the limits and aren't cheating on you or messing around or doing anything that you wouldn't want them to be doing. And it's because of those insecurities that negative thinking can just explode. And suddenly, your partner maybe's been out for a beer with his friend, comes back, you kick off because you think they're cheating on you, and it becomes a whole thing rather than you having a logical response. Just have a little reflect. What are your current limiting beliefs? What do they kind of look like? And yeah, start with your I am statement, and you can kind of go from there. So the first one is looking for cues in language that indicate a limiting belief. Talked about those different statements that we can make. I am shy, I am sad, I am unlovable. Listen out for that limiting belief statement. That is the key. Remember, limiting beliefs are not facts, they are opinions. They can be changed. And an example of that is something like, I can't do X because of Y. I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not fit enough. I don't believe I can, or I don't believe I should, or I don't believe I will. I don't deserve happiness. People will never buy from me if you're an entrepreneur. Nobody likes to be sold to blah, blah, blah. I don't need anyone, or it's not my fault, taking no ownership or accountability. I'll just probably fail. That's quite a one I've come across quite a few times. I will probably just fail. If I tried this, I'll probably just fail at it. If you try to go against these limiting beliefs, excuses will appear. You'll start to justify why that you will probably fail. I'll probably fail if I do the qualification because I wasn't very good at school and I'm just not very good at exams. I love that statement. Probably not just very good. Who's good at exams? No one's good at exams. It's about the work that you put in before the exam. Your beliefs determine everything. If I can put this in a statement, your beliefs determine everything. Think about what you give attention to. Think about how you spend your time. Are you spending too much time watching reality TV? Spending too much time on Netflix? Are you spending too much time watching things you shouldn't be watching, numbing your brain? It doesn't matter if it's right or if it's wrong or if it's true or if it's false. If it's useful, then it's useful. And that is the big thing when it comes to your beliefs. Like we've said before, it isn't a true or false situation. It's a, do I believe this? Is this something I value or not? So the main challenge here is breaking this cycle. Being able to set yourself apart and say, yes, this was my belief, but now I've changed it to this. So have a little think. What belief is holding you back the most? One for me was when I was suffering with mental health issues, I had the huge belief that I couldn't start a business. So, I'd just been made redundant. I really wanted to start a business, but my confidence had just gone. So I just tackled it. I said initially, I can't build a business because I'm probably not particularly smart enough to do it. I've never built a business before. I don't have the skill set. But then I challenged myself and I broke down those barriers. I looked at different projects I've ran, different qualifications I had. And suddenly with time, you start to think, well, actually, I'm quite well equipped to do a business, build a business. I've got expertise in that area. I've got a high work ethic. And suddenly that becomes an empowering belief. And you say, I can build a business because I am smart enough. But it's all about that action, all about this action. If you do have a limiting belief, I'm going to give you a couple of techniques to try and break that cycle. So firstly, I've got the challenge for you. As soon as you have a thought around your limiting belief, can you challenge it? So ask yourself, where did this belief come from? Possibly your parents, possibly your friends, possibly from the TV, possibly from your partner. Where did this belief come from? That you are not worthy perhaps, or you're not good enough, or you shouldn't take risks. Where did that come from? And then get into it. Who gave you that? If you didn't come up with that one, who came up with it for you? Then get into thinking about people who are similar to you. Has anybody in the world ever had a go at what you want to do, who's got a similar background to you, wants to do similar things? And if the answer is yes, then you can go for it, because nothing is holding you back. We've got to think about people in similar situations to us, challenge those beliefs. So as soon as you have a negative thought or a limiting belief come over you, challenge it. Why am I thinking of it? Where did this come from? What can I do about it? Are people who are similar to me achieving things I want to achieve? And then by the time you get to that last question, your mindset will start to change. Really consider, though, the specifics of that limiting belief, which allow for the reduction of that belief. You could use reframing here if you wanted to. The second technique I want to talk about is something called the belief cycle. So this includes potential, action, results, and belief. Not necessarily in that order, but it's a cycle, so I suppose it doesn't matter. The amount of potential you think you have will determine how much action you take. What that means is the amount of action you take will determine the results that you get. The results you will get determine the level of belief that you have in yourself. The level of belief you have in yourself determines how much potential you think you have. And then the cycle continues. So as you can see, everything is linked, from potential to action to your results to your belief to your potential to your action to your results, belief, potential. And it's this swirling circle. But action is key. Action is key. We want to encourage your physical action. And I don't mean go run a mile, unless you're trying to lose weight, obviously. I'm talking about actually making progress in your business, developing your skill set, getting into a relationship, improving your marriage, losing the weight, developing your mental health, developing your mindset. Whatever it is, we want to go on a bit of a spiral. And spirals go down, obviously. I have many a time spiraled out of control in a negative way, but they also spiral in a positive way. And we want to spiral into control, into empowering beliefs. So ask yourself, is the belief you're having empowering you, or is it limiting you? And if it's limiting you, flip it and try and turn it into an empowering belief. And with this increased level of potential, encourage yourself to take more action towards that goal. And there is a couple of steps we can take to do that, but it is all about the action. It's all about making that big jump towards actually going and making an impact on this world with your empowering beliefs. Because as unstoppable introverts, that is what this is all about. It's all about having an unbreakable mindset so we can go and have a huge impact on this world, whether it is through a business, through a promotion, through a marathon, doing it for charity or whatever. You have the opportunity to go and have an incredibly powerful impact on this world. And I am so excited to see what you are going to go and do with your empowering beliefs. So let's go through a little kind of 4-step process here so you can take major action on your limiting beliefs when they rear their ugly head. So firstly, listen out for your limiting beliefs. I'm talking terminology, I'm talking your thoughts. If you say anything like, oh, I don't know, I'm just too shy, limiting belief. If you say something, oh, I could never do that, I'm just too unfit, limiting belief. If you say something like, oh, I could never start a business, I'm just not that type of person, limiting belief. All of which are excuses not to pursue the goal that you want to do. If you don't want to do any of those things, that's fine. Just say you don't want to do them. Don't use limiting beliefs as almost an excuse not to do something. And then it's time to highlight those limiting beliefs and pick out the main couple that you think are the most important. Whether it's imposter syndrome, whether it's confidence, whether it's leadership, whether it's problem solving, whether it is fitness, whatever it is, you need to be able to highlight what your strengths and weaknesses are and highlight how you're going to improve them and turn those into empowering beliefs and really challenge it. Where did this belief came from? Is this deep rooted from childhood? Is this something that you need to speak to somebody about? Is this coming from the school I attended or my university or the fact my first girlfriend when I was 13 or 14 cheated on me, so now I've got no self-worth? Think about where this came from. And when you do that, you can start to think about the steps you need to take to move forward. And then lastly, encourage yourself to act towards that goal. Action, which will in turn start a positive belief cycle. We've all done it. We've all had a negative thought or a limiting belief and thought, oh, actually, I can't do this. But then you do it, you do the damn thing, and suddenly think, oh, actually, I can do this. It's like marathons. My wife's doing a marathon in a couple of weeks' time. When we first started, or even before we started, she said, I am not a runner. Limiting belief. What the fuck's a runner? Anyone's a runner. I'm not a runner. Well, actually, you are a runner. And my prediction is that she's going to do this marathon and she's going to find it challenging because marathons are challenging, but she's going to finish it and she's going to look at her watch and she's going to go, I think I could beat that time. And she's going to have belief that she could run another marathon. In fact, something that I'd forgotten about till that second was she sent me a picture of an ultra marathon that's happening 3 months after the marathon. It's a 70-mile ultra along Hadrian's Wall in the northeast of England. And she said, maybe we should do that. So suddenly she's gone from, I'm not a runner, to, okay, I'm going to sign up for this marathon. So that's that potential and action. I'm going to run a bit. I'm going to do a marathon, which is the result. And now suddenly I've got the belief to actually think, well, right, maybe I'll do an ultra marathon then. So we have the power to change our thoughts and perspectives and our beliefs. We just have to be self-aware enough to actually to go and do it. So it's a really interesting one and it's a really cool topic, and it's something that I am always working on. I try and really focus on my terminology when I'm talking. I try and link this in with things like affirmations. So, you know, the I am statements. Eric Thomas, I think I've mentioned him before. E.T. the hip hop preacher talks about I am, you know, in a really positive way. You can tie these into those affirmations that you might do every day. You know, I am great, I am confident, I am unstoppable, I am a Porsche with no brakes. I was going to go into the Unstoppable song by Sia there, but held off because I'm an introvert. You don't want to hear me sing. I can't sing, some might say. Not really. That would be a limiting belief. I can sing. Now I believe I can sing. Still not going to sing for you though, because I'm going off on a tangent here. So yeah, have that limiting belief broken down, and you know, we can delete it, distort it, mess it up in a way that it will never come back again. But it is a work in progress, this type of thing. So I hope this has been useful for you. I hope that you are getting value from these podcasts. Like I've said a few times, I'm absolutely pumped to be speaking to you as often as I am. I feel like us as a tribe, as an Unstoppable Introverts tribe, is just electric. It is something I'm so excited to be part of. And if I can help you in any way, I will absolutely do that. Slide into my DMs, comment on anything I've posted. Feel free to do that if you want to. Ask me questions. If there's a topic you want me to talk about in my on the podcast, just let me know and I'll absolutely do it for you. And we will progress towards that 100 episode number. I think this is episode 5, I think. And we're getting there. We are working towards that goal. Although, to be honest, yes, that's the goal in terms of getting 100 episodes out this year. I do want to make sure that they are positive for you guys, and you are taking some value from them as well. So please like and subscribe to the podcast. Also follow me on social media at Dr. David Hooper and say hello. I'd love to connect with a few more of you. And please share it with any introverts you think might take some value from it, and anyone who isn't an introvert. We are open to all, but we're certainly developing unstoppable introverts in this group, because I believe that we have the potential to achieve anything when it comes to your goals and your dreams, starting businesses, developing incredible relationships. And I'm so excited to hear about how you are going about this journey. So just to finish with, I always like to say, being an introvert isn't the thing that will hold you back. It is the thing that will propel you towards your dreams and goals and ambitions. Hope you've enjoyed the session today, and I'm so excited to see you on the next one.